Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your March 2020 full moon reading for you. Now, this moon is very exciting. This is when Mercury is coming out of retrograde, so that's really cool. It's also a super moon, so the energy around this moon is absolutely intense. Now, if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. So let's dive right in now, Gemini, and see what this moon has to offer you. I have everything set up right here for you. Regarding this moon, I'm going to move the Moonology and the Queen of the Moon cards to the side, and these will be layered on top of the tarot to let Luna speak for herself, to let the moon really show you what is going to be happening during this time. And so let's see with the tarot right here. How will Gemini be affected by the March 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the March 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the March 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the March 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. Show me clearly, show me clearly. Fantastic. So we have the Seven of Cups right at the heart. You are then crowned by the High Priestess. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite card. And then we have the Chariot, so strong Cancer energy. It's a time frame of June 21st to July 22nd. Then we have the Magician. Oh, that's brilliant. The Queen of Swords, that's you shining through right there. Gemini, you're represented by by the Swords in the Minor Arcana, by the Lover's card in the Major Arcana. Then you have the Ten of Wands. And you have the Death card, so strong Scorpio presence, a time frame of October 23rd to November 21st. Then you have the Three of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, and the Sun card. Oh, that's brilliant. Right there, right next to you is the Sun. So that is absolutely lovely. This time period is going to be really quite beautiful for you. So let's talk about this moon for a little bit, because this full moon is in Virgo. This is a moon of getting things done, of being very discerning. There is going to be a sense of being very detail oriented, Gemini, around you because of this moon. And you're really going to see your okay, so you're going to want to be doing a lot of things all at once during this moon, but you're really going to see yourself being focused and dedicated and really seeing the bigger picture of what you want to create and cultivate coming forward during this time. This moon is powerful. We have power surrounding you during this full moon, and the full moon also says surrender to the divine. So as you are moving forward in power, you surrender to the divine, and you find that you are guided towards something even greater than you had thought before. This then moves you to the power of the full moon being in Virgo, which says you are good enough. Now, I always thought that was rather rude, because you are good enough doesn't mean like you excel or anything. It's kind of like you're good enough. You just stay where you are. It's like a steady C, right? But what I'm really seeing here with this Virgo energy of this full moon, it's not that, don't achieve, just kind of take it easy. It's you are good enough. It's looking at yourself and saying, I am good enough. I do not have to be, like this person, like that person. I don't have to do this or I don't have to do that. I simply have to embrace the life that I want and move forward in that beauty, and know that even if I'm not perfect, because nobody is, I am good enough for me. And that is all that matters. So it's actually a very empowering statement and a very beautiful statement for you with this Virgo energy. And it's going to be amplified by the supermoon, which says emotions are running high. Now, the supermoon intensifies emotions and it amplifies your desires. So you might find, you might find that it's harder to say no to yourself at times. Like if you really want to eat that chocolate cake or something like that, you might think, why not? But here, during this supermoon, you moving in excess is going to be counterintuitive to the order that the Virgo full moon wants. The kind of, looking at things and being more inclined towards tending, towards growing, towards cultivating. It's kind of like, think of it as a garden. So during this moon, you are going to be planting seeds for what you want, or you're going to be kind of covering, if you're in the southern hemisphere, covering the flower beds, covering the gardens, and letting the world go into slumber for the winter. So whether you are planting and getting ready for the gardens to spring to life, or you are putting things to sleep for the winter, here, emotions run high and things to excess aren't going to work well for you. So just be mindful of this during this time, Gemini, because you move towards the supermoon also brings with it attraction. You are attracting what you desire, and because the supermoon falls on the worm moon, which is really cool, this supermoon was last month, okay? And we're going to have 2 more supermoons. So we have it this month, so we'll have 4 supermoons during this time, and we'll have one in April, and we'll have one in May. So these are going to be very intense lunar periods for us. And what you're going to see here is you have faith in what you are creating, what you are cultivating, what you are pregnant with. And it doesn't mean having a child. It means what you are creating, what you want to bring forth. And as you do so, you are attracting to yourself what it is that you truly desire and where it is that you want to be. You are falling in alignment, and you are falling out of alignment with the negative, with the anger, with the upset. And you are going to see that you are being warmed and cared for during this time by spirit, by divinity. And as you embrace this power, this warmth, there is a strong connection with you, Gemini, and the goddess Hestia. So the Greek goddess Hestia is the goddess of the hearth, and she is my favorite Greek goddess. She gave up her seat in Olympus after, the Olympian gods won over the Titans, okay? And there was an uneven amount of gods and goddesses, right? Main gods and goddesses. So everybody was fighting, everybody was arguing, do we get rid of, just one goddess? Do we get rid of, a whole bunch and only leave a certain number? And Hestia said, you know what? Nobody's going to give up their seat. I don't want this. I don't want this trauma. I don't want this drama. I want my life, my power, and my truth. So what was she? She was the goddess of the hearth, right? What did every single house have in it in ancient Greek times? And even to this day, what does every house gather around? Hearth and home, we say. You gather around hearth and home. So by this goddess stepping down and saying, you know what, I don't need to be Zeus. I don't need to be Hera. I don't need to be Aphrodite. I can simply be the hearth. She was worshipped in every single home. Her power grew because of her humility. And that's what you're going to see during this time. It's not being falsely humble. It's your power growing because of the humility within your soul, within yourself, with saying, you know what, I don't want the red carpet life. I want a life that is true for me. Or if I want a red carpet life, if that's your goal, if that's your soul's truth, then it's going about it in being in a very warming, beautiful way. And what happens is during the new moon on, oh goodness, of course, everything falls. During the new moon on March 24th, you are going to see new beginnings moving you forward. So here you have the earth coming forward. You have the blanket, of the grass coming up, but also the power of the earth coming around. And this is shown in this imagery of new beginnings. So either if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're moving towards an awakening. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you're moving towards the winter. So you're moving towards this portal of change during this time. And this actually can be something that you really feel, Gemini, during this time. You feel this portal of change. And this is a time to take action because the new moon is in Aries. And as you take action, you see new starts are coming, new power is coming, new beauty leads you forward. And there's a new way of defining yourself, a new way of defining the situation, a new way of seeing your prosperity. And what this leads you to is the full moon in Libra. A win-win outcome is forecast. So in April, the full moon, because this reading lasts from full moon to full moon, from March 9th to April 7th, you are going to find that you are moving towards a win-win outcome. You're moving towards a more balanced, more prosperous outcome for yourself. And as you move towards this outcome, you have the wolf spirit, the whale spirit, and the hawk spirit around you. And these are your totem animals for these times. This is your spirit animal for this time. So when you see these animals during this time, this is spirit saying, giving you a little tap on your shoulder and saying, remember these words. Because the wolf spirit is going to be, first of all, the most important one. Because the wolf spirit is in March, there we go, and is in April. So the wolf spirit is turn knowledge into wisdom. You are turning your knowledge, you are turning your ideas into wisdom. What does that mean? It means that you have been through a lot, Gemini. And as you are embracing what you have been through and what you desire to create and cultivate within your life, you are going to turn the hard periods, the retrograde period that we are coming out of on the 9th of March, right, with this full moon, right? You are turning the hard periods into wisdom. And as the wisdom comes, you are empowered, okay? As your knowledge turns to wisdom, turns to power, turns to truth, right? You embrace the whale spirit, which says, trust the great mysteries, trust in the greater mysteries, trust in the in-betweens of things, trust that you're not supposed to know everything, because as you trust in the mysteries, you have the hawk spirit for April really shining through. And this says, let spirit be your guide, because you're going to find that as you embrace your wisdom, as you trust in the great mysteries, as you see things really opening up and changing for you, you're going to find that April is this time of balance coming in, of spirit. Spirit is already right there with you, but spirit more guiding you towards these joys, towards these prosperities, because at the heart of everything here is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is infinite possibilities around you. You're looking at things during this time, and it is actually going to take from full moon to full moon, from the 9th to the 7th of April, from the 9th of March to the 7th of April, that you're going to be looking at things, you're going to be pondering things, you're going to be working things out. And this is that Virgo moon really shining through, where it's really having you look at things, it's having you troubleshoot situations, it's you wanting to be helpful, even to yourself, especially to yourself, Gemini. I mean, you should be helpful to yourself first, and then start helping everybody else. But here, there is the sense of looking at what you want, of focusing, of building, of understanding. And as you do so, I love the progression from the 7 to the 8. You will find that there's going to be something, Gemini, that stops you. There's going to be something where, kind of puts the brakes on and you're like, what the heck is going on here? Because this is self-doubt. And the thing with the 8 of Swords, it's feeling trapped, it's feeling overwhelmed, it's feeling like no matter which way you turn, you will make a mistake. And as you're moving forward, it's like, okay, listen, you can doubt yourself all day long, up and down the Mississippi, never stop doubting. And what will happen? You will not get anywhere, because your fear will outweigh any of the successes that can be coming your way. It will outweigh everything. It will make you feel as if you just can't move forward. You will find that as you're looking at things, there's going to be something here, a million things to procrastinate with, a million things that need your attention more than what you need to do. And this, what you need to do, is going to become very clear. I just keep on seeing the attraction here. It's going to be something where when your mind is silent, your head is saying, oh, you should really be doing this. Or when you are, procrastinating, you're going to call yourself out and be like, oh, wow, okay, I slipped up. And instead of saying, wow, I failed, I can't believe it, I'm never going to try this again, I can't believe, what I've done, you're going to say, okay, I slipped up. I didn't focus my attention the way that I should have, or the way that I wanted to. And now I'm going to start again. You could say either in an hour, or if you're really sitting there and you're behind the 8 ball, it's like, okay, tomorrow, that's my new start. And it's not going to be tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. It's going to be, and tomorrow, I stay focused. And again, if you slip up, if you are sitting there because you have these really defined goals during this time, and it's taking one thing at a time and saying, I am focusing on this. And it's doors opening to you. It's power leading you forward. And as these doors open, as you embrace this power, you have the High Priestess guiding you. And again, you had here the 7 of Cups, and then you had the 8 of Swords. So you have 7 and an 8. And here you have the High Priestess, which is number 2 in the major arcana, and then you have the Three of Pentacles. So you're going to see that things happen in a natural progression for you. They're not going to be the same things, but they're going to be very powerful things for you, where like A equals B, 1 equals 2. You're going to see that things move forward in a pattern, and you're going to see this pattern, or you're going to see this pattern of behavior. And with the High Priestess, a veil is lifted from your eyes. You are seeing things more clearly. You are seeing people's truths, and you are also seeing your own truths. So you're not really going to have time for the naysayers, for the negative people during this time, because you're going to be like, no, listen, I'm really focusing on the truth within. It's kind of like the Oracle of Delphi. That's the type of energy that is around you. Or, very much the Hestia energy of I'm focusing on the hearth, I'm focusing on the home, I'm focusing on the light. Kind of like the moon, it reflects the light of the sun. The earth's core is the light that warms the earth. And so here, you're really worried about, not worried, focused on that passion, that drive, that moving forward towards that greatness. And as with the Oracle of Delphi in ancient Rome, like you could sit there and say, okay, that was a person, ancient Greece, that, sat in a cave that had a lot of fumes, and they just rambled off and people thought it was wisdom. And yeah, you could definitely say that, and that would be one way of seeing it. Or you could sit there and say, wow, that person was gifted and they spoke in prophecy that was given in hidden meanings, and people spent their whole lives moving towards that truth. And so here with the High Priestess, you are having those deeper meanings come to you, but they will come in kind of riddle form, and you're going to see things again naturally start to fall into place as you have the progressive pattern here moving with you, guiding you forward. The prosperity is falling, and you're going to be off looking at something else. You're going to have these coins coming down, this prosperity coming to you, where you're going to think, oh wow, how did I get here? Or how did this realization come? And it's going to be very important for you, Gemini, to take a step back from things when you are getting overwhelmed or feeling, kind of out of sorts. And as you step back, you're going to be like, oh, okay, now I see this way of moving forward. Now I see this understanding. Now I have a deeper truth that is guiding me. And you're going to see the pattern moving you, and it is going to be a pattern that moves you. There is going to be a rhythm to things, kind of, or a soundtrack in your head that is really guiding you forward. And with the Queen of Swords, you're cutting through doubts and fears, but you're also claiming your throne. During this time, during this moon, you're going to feel much more comfortable, Gemini, being behind the scenes, especially crowned with the High Priestess. You're not going to want everyone to see you all the time, or maybe even at all. There's going to be a severe privacy to you during this time, and you are going to be cutting through doubts and fears, negativity, upset, getting to the heart of the matter. But this is also having yourself come into alignment with your heart and your head, a sense of moving within the power of your emotions and the power of your mental truth. And as you do so, you are going to see yourself guided. You are going to see yourself seeing things more clearly. Now, the warning, and especially for you, Gemini, as an air sign, I myself am a Gemini and, of course, an air sign. So I do know that we can get to be sharp-tongued, all right? When we're excited or focused, and you have that laser focus of the Seven of Cups, that sense of, visualization, manifestation really coming into play. And the warning against also daydreaming. So people say, like, Dane, what is the difference between daydreaming and manifestation? All right. So daydreaming is just sitting back and saying, wow, wouldn't it be nice too? And manifestation and visualization is looking at it, saying in your mind's eye, the first place I conquer anything is within my mind. Right? So if you're doubting yourself, and you have the Eight of Swords here, so there is going to be that energy around you, Gemini, where you doubt yourself. And the thing with Geminis, okay, the thing that we have to be mindful of is that we will lose our truth in order to make other people happy, in order to live up to their expectations of ourselves. And so once you lose yourself, it's going to be very hard to find yourself again. So here, instead of worrying what everybody else is thinking, because that's what we Geminis like to do. We want to go, oh, what's that person thinking? What's that person thinking about us? Or thinking about this or that? Or are we on the same page? Take that worry, that doubt, that fear, and silence it every time it comes up, and say, I'm not living my life for that person. This is my life. I own it. I understand it. I'm moving forward. Even if you don't understand it, it's mine. And so the worry, the doubt, and the fear that it's going to help that is going to hinder the visualization, okay? Acknowledging it, saying, okay, it's happening, and then stepping it aside, like putting it aside, is going to be very important for you because you're picking one thing. With the Seven of Cups, it's picking one thing that you want. And you could be adding to it over the course of this full moon, most definitely. But one thing at a time that you are looking at and saying, this is what I want. And it can just be one thing. Like, I want to complete this project, or I want to achieve this goal. I want to lose, let's say, 5 pounds, something to that effect, or, 2 pounds, something to that effect during this time. You can make it something as kind of, in the now as losing 2 pounds, or you could make it something more abstract, putting your time and your energy to it, but also seeing it within your mind's eye, seeing it there and saying, this is what I want. This is what I need. And instead of saying, oh, wow, what makes you think you could do that? You couldn't do it before. You always fail. You always mess up. Can you really think that you're going to stick to something or be able to do something from one full moon to the next full moon? That's ridiculous. Okay? That's what you have to be mindful of. Mindfulness is conquering that little evil voice inside our heads that has us doubting ourselves, fearing ourselves, having negativity being more powerful than our heart's truth, okay, and the light that we're supposed to be living in. And as you cut through doubts and fears, as you claim this throne, you see the sun shining on you. You see this beautiful radiance around you. And it moves you towards your new dawn, your new day. It moves you forward in an innocence. Now, people will also take you by eyes. Why? Because when you're happy and when people see you happy, they're going to be like, well, why not me? And people really do think there's only enough happiness out there for a handful of people. Or if you're happy, that means I can't be happy. It's not true. It's not true. But just be mindful that as you are moving forward with your radiant light around you, that people are going to try and trip you up. This isn't trying to take something positive being said and turning it into something negative. It is giving you a warning. Take it or leave it. It is completely up to you. Because as you cut through doubts and fears, as you stand your ground and claim your power, as you are the director behind the scenes of your life, right? You have gathered up your firewood, right? You have gathered up your passion, your understanding, but you also have to let go of what you cannot control and other people's lessons, because you have, again, that full moon in Virgo is going to call to you, Gemini, and you're going to be like, oh, I can handle that burden, and I can pick up the slack for that person, and I can do this, don't worry. And what's going to happen? You're going to burn out. You're going to be tired, you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be resentful, and you're going to sit there and be like, well, who the heck helped me? Which is going to lead you down a negative path, okay? And this isn't, saying anything other than you're going to be human. And with the 10 of Wands, it is a completion of a cycle towards your passion, towards your creativity, towards what you want to develop. And as you move towards that completion of cycle, you have the Magician coming in. And the Magician is being able to conjure and create. Now, it can be that your ability to conjure, if that's what you're into and believe in, is stronger during this time. Now, it can also be, the way I see it, is in Hinduism, okay? Brahma said that he hid the God's head within man. And if you've watched me before, you know I say this all the time. He hid the God's head within man, because that is the one place we'd never look for it. All right, well, now you're looking within. And you're seeing that God's head. Because Brahma said we would climb the highest mountain, we would go to the deepest part of the sea, we would even go out beyond the boundaries of our world, and we would find that God's head if it was external. But internal, we would be too afraid. And so here, with the Magician's energy, you are seeing that you have all 4 of the elements. You have passion and creation with you. You have the sense of knowledge, of, passion, determination, of emotional truth, and of prosperity, the seeds to be planted. Think of it all as you have all the tools to grow the most exquisite garden. Okay? Air is represented by the sword. So the wind you have that carries the rain in the water, that waters the ground, that's heated by the core and by the sun. So here you have everything you need to grow to fantastic heights, to know what you desire, to say, I claim my power. And it's standing before the altar of your existence and saying, I claim my prosperity, my success, and my bounty, which moves you from a place of fear, which has been paralyzing you at your heart. You're at this war with yourself right now, Gemini, where half of you is like, I got this. Don't worry, I can do this. And the other half of you is going, oh my gosh, no. Oh my gosh, no. Oh my gosh, I'm going to faint or throw up or both, you know? And so here, with the Sun card coming in, you have this beauty and this warmth around you, which I love this line right here because it's so powerful with the major arcana and the visualization of the mind, right? But you have the Death card here, which is a Scorpio energy, but you have the Death card starting this line, and you have the Sun card finishing it, which can seem, incongruous. It can seem really at odds with each other. But the Death card is the Scorpio energy. It's kind of like, I'm taking no bull. And you're also going to see real beauty within the darker side of things. And it's not saying that one has to be light and one has to be dark, day or night, but you're seeing the in-between of it all. Life isn't black and white. Everybody wants life to be black and white. White page, black print, that's it. It's nice and clear. We all know the rules. Now let's just follow it. But that's not how people are, and that's not how life is. It's all about the grays. It's all about the in-betweens. And that's what you're going to be very drawn to. You're also going to find the littlest things have the biggest sting. Okay, kind of like a Scorpio. Well, not kind of, a Scorpio. The littler the Scorpio is, the more worried you have to be about it stinging you. Because the more potent the venom, the bigger the Scorpio is, the safer you are. So here, with the Death card, you're having this dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. You are seeing the in-betweens of things, and you're seeing that sometimes the littlest things can plant the deepest poisons. And you can be purging those poisons. But do know there will be a detox time. There will be a time where you're like, wow, I don't feel good about this. Or, not about this, I don't feel good. Period. End of discussion. You can need to take care of yourself, to take care of your soul. But there can also be times where you're looking at things and you're realizing, oh, I thought it was going to be clearer or easier. And it's messy. Because life is messy. And as you move forward with Scorpio energy, you are really focusing on your emotions here because Scorpio is a water sign, Cancer is a water sign, right? And the water signs are all about emotions. And the warning with the water signs is just like when you're in the ocean, you can get pulled off by the undertow. So you could think you're swimming straight, you're going towards your goal, and then you get to shore and you're looking at things and you're like, where the heck am I? So just be mindful that sometimes emotions can sweep you away during this time. But with the Chariot, you're determined. I mean, you have this determination to be like, I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm going, and that's it. Charioteers during the day, they were like NASCAR racers now, right? So there is an element of risk to what you do, right? Or to what you're taking on. It's kind of like, I'm going faster, I'm going further than before, right? And also, these were like not so much like tanks to protect you from arrows, but a little bit like tanks, because when you used to fight back in the ancient times with a chariot, you were more equipped than the foot soldiers around you. You had this speed, you had this agility that others did not. You could also have a focus because you could throw spears where it was harder on horseback to be able to do that. So really here, you are utilizing the tools that you have around you, and you are really setting yourself up for profound success during this time. There is a way that you're utilizing, kind of the latest and the greatest things. It doesn't mean that you have to go out and buy anything. It's just that you're utilizing the energy around you that's really going to help you be performing kind of like a step above others. So really calling on this energy to move you forward is going to be highly beneficial. And you're going to be highly driven, highly focused, but do be mindful of going too fast, of getting too caught up, because the bounty is coming. I mean, the blessings are coming with the Three of Pentacles, and they're going to fall kind of into your lap. It's not going to be, breathtaking money or anything like that. It can be, but I wouldn't say, expect that. It's going to be something very little, but very meaningful. Just like you're going to find the littlest things can bring the deepest poisons. All right? It can be the littlest things bring also the deepest joys. And it's moving you past the doubts and the fears. Now you have the repeat of the number 7. And the repeat of the number 7 is beautiful because it says that you are going to be drawn towards the more esoteric. okay, towards wisdom that really sinks to your heart. But the repeat of the number 7 also warns against lies. Anything that you say that is a lie will be called out. Even if somebody next to you says something bigger, people are going to be focusing on you. Why? It's just the nature of 7. And also with this comes a sense that you will not be able to stand liars during this time. You'll see through it, especially crowned by the High Priestess right here. You're really going to have no tolerance for it. And just be mindful of that, because you will have such a strong reaction to any kind of white lies or negativity or anything like that, that it can feel that it traps you again, because you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's just the same thing. It's just the same thing, different place, different people, different situation. This was supposed to be different, and it's not. So be mindful that you may have, I don't want to say will, because you can definitely change it, but you may have this very strong reaction to things where it feels like it's out of your control, or it feels like it's following old patterns that you just didn't want in your life anymore. So that's going to be something here that once it's seen, you're freed from it. You really are. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it, and I can embrace a new dawn, a new day, and a beautiful power. Now let's see what your Queen of the Moon cards have to say. How will Gemini be affected by the March 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the March 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. Perfect. I'm just going to lay these out quietly. That one really does just want to be free. So I definitely say the message of faith is very important to you during this time. And it's not just a religious faith, but having faith within yourself, not doubting yourself and thinking everybody else knows better and feeling as if, as if you're missing something, Gemini, because that's just not going to be the truth. All right. How will Gemini be affected by the February 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the March 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the March 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the March 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. There we go. Oh, that's so interesting. I like that. Right up here, and I know I usually start at the heart, but right here we have fear and the void of course. So when fear and the void of course come together, fear is around you, and it is going to be something that, as you see things more clearly, and as you are embracing your truth, your power, your understanding, as you are looking at things and being like, wow, like that's the reasoning behind it. You're seeing the layers. You're seeing deeper into things. Okay, it can be astoundingly overwhelming. This can also bring very much a spiritual awakening, which can bring with it fear. But the fear, nothing will come of this situation. The situation of fear, of feeling trapped, of not being able to be kind of birthed forward. All right, the creativity within you, around you, nothing will come of this fear. Meaning, this fear will leave you to be stagnant, and nothing, the beauty that is around you, will not come. So just be very mindful of this, because the void, of course, with the Three of Pentacles, right here, with the prosperity that comes, but if the fear takes over, the prosperity won't tap you on the shoulder and be like, hey, Gemini, I'm here. It's time to start celebrating. It's time to start, embracing your prosperity. It's time to start seeing yourself as the success that you are. And this leads you to the heart of the matter, which is boundaries, having clear boundaries, but also boundaries for your success. Don't sit there and say, okay, I'm going to, achieve the world, and then set yourself up for failure. Have clear boundaries to the beauty that you are really looking at and incorporating in your life. And you're going to see that as you focus on what's important to you, as you focus on like one thing at a time, you're going to see the world start to open up. And you're going to see that boundaries are really important because you can't be everything to everyone. And you're going to need to have those clear boundaries, that clear understanding, which then moves you to the mutable moon, which says nothing is yet set in stone. So the doubts and the fears and the feeling overwhelmed that can hold you back, know that nothing is set in stone. And so you might think you know, but you don't. And you might think, oh my gosh, they're right, but they're not. Nothing is set in stone. Let yourself have that freedom to discover your truth, to embrace your power, your understanding, which leads you to self-love. As you claim your throne, as you claim your power, as you cut through doubts and fears, which brings you to the third quarter moon, which says adjustments are required. As you embrace your happiness, as you see things with a beginner's mind, do not look at things and say, oh, well, I know already. I've been there, done that, kind of got the t-shirt. I'm not impressed. No, look at things with new eyes, with new understanding. And look at things as you are embracing this new dawn, this new power, this new purpose, this new truth. And make the adjustments that are required for the endless possibilities that are a part of you, which leads you to blossoming, blooming, and becoming. As you take your passion, as you take what you desire, and you focus on it. Instead of burdening yourself with trying to be everything to everyone. It's kind of like saying, if I'm a pitcher, right, of water, and I fill up everybody else's glass, but there's nothing left for myself or within my pitcher, what is hydrating me? What is keeping me going? So with the blossoming that is coming, with yourself moving forward, you're going to see you're gathering the passion, the creativity, but you're also starting to cultivate, create, put down what you've been carrying for so long and making something beautiful. It's kind of like carving a violin out of the wood that you have, creating your dreams, creating that power. And it moves you to the full moon in Pisces. It says, balance spirituality and practicality. As you embrace the altar of your existence, as you stand before the altar of your existence and say, this is who I am. Embrace your spirituality with your practicality and let yourself be authentically you without hiding away or being embarrassed. And say, this is what I want for my life and this is who I am. Emotions will run deep and you will find times where you think this is a horrible idea. It's not. Let your heart shine through as long as you are not hurting yourself or anyone. You are in the right. You are doing the right thing for you because you're being called to it by your soul. And as you embrace this calling, you see that nothing is set in stone. What you thought might be the only way to do things or what you have doubted, now you start to see that you make the adjustments required. And you soar higher, you see things more, and there's a pleasure to your life. There's a pleasure to the energy coursing through you as you are reborn and as you claim that rebirth. This then leads you to the new moon in Leo, to knowing that confidence is your key, to moving forward and going after what you want and thinking quickly and letting your heart be your guide. Your confidence is your key. Have you ever met those people who you sit there and you're like, well, that's not right. But they say things with such confidence and such force of self that everybody's nodding along, and you might even find yourself believing them. It's having that sort of confidence. But instead of being full of you are full of truth. And you move forward in that truth. And it's going to be the beautiful thing that propels you forward. And you know that nothing will come of the situation of fear, except more fear, more doubt, and more delays. And you know that nothing is set in stone. As you embrace infinite possibilities, and as you embrace the influence of spirit to move you towards your blossoming truth and your self-love power, the power of your self-love. Your subconscious message for this time is the Seven of Wands. This isn't saying to roll over and play dead. There are going to be times during this time period where you stand your ground, you know your truth, you stand up for yourself, and you're like, no, this is me. I'm not apologizing for it. But also knowing that some people are never going to see it. Some people are never going to understand. So why waste your breath? Move forward in your happiness. Life is too short to be anything but happy. Not every moment of every day, of course, but to be able to say more often than not, I smiled, I laughed, and I enjoyed my life. And again, you have another 7 right there. So very much so. Being honest with yourself, because you'll find that even if you're lying to you, oh, Gemini, you'll call yourself out and you'll do so hard and you'll be like, what the heck are you doing? And you'll find that you're harder on yourself than you are on anybody else. So keeping things on the up and up for you emotionally, spiritually, personally, that's going to be so important. It leads you then to peace. Oh, I love this. The subconscious message of moving forward in blooming, blossoming, powerful peace, which leads you to the subconscious message of the Moonology cards, which is believe in the impossible with the full moon, with the blue moon. Believe in the impossible, because the impossible is becoming part of your possibilities and part of your reality. Nothing is impossible, Gemini, especially not for you, especially not during this time. All right, Gemini, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. And I love you all. Bye.